the home. Skyfox over that home right now, where multiple FBI agents are seen going in and out of this residence, carrying boxes of unspecified items. At one point, a neighbor with luggage in tow was escorted down the sidewalk by...
Around 11:43 p.m., Sacramento police scanners chattered over static. A courthouse camera feed froze for 8 seconds, and 3 black SUVs cut their lights beside the federal annex on I Street. In less than a minute, rumors outran sirens. A judge was missing, a server room had gone dark, and someone inside the system had already started erasing the trail. By the time the first FBI tactical unit crossed the security line, the operation already had a name: Night Lantern. It had been built for 19 months inside a sealed task force run between the FBI, the DEA, and the U.S. Department of Justice, with quiet support from Treasury analysts in Washington, D.C. The target was not a cartel courier in Los Angeles, not a fentanyl broker in San Diego, not a shell company lawyer hiding behind Silicon Valley paper walls. It was a sitting federal judge in California. His name inside sealed memos was Judge Keller, chief fixture of the U.S. District Court Circuit chatter from Sacramento to Fresno, a man whose rulings buried warrants, delayed seizures, and redirected prosecutions until clean cases arrived in court already bleeding. On the surface, he was old school, procedural, impossible to rattle. Behind that polished bench, investigators believed he had protected a $2.6 billion laundering network tied to meth pipelines, port conversions, and real estate conversions spread across California. But the task force still lacked the one thing that could bring the structure down in a single blow: the ledger. It first surfaced in Oakland, buried inside an innocuous nonprofit registration called the Pacific Renewal Foundation, a charity on paper. Was a transfer valve in practice. The foundation sponsored addiction outreach, courthouse literacy drives, and legal aid seminars from Sacramento to Bakersfield. It had smiling board photos, clean donor reports, and endorsements from minor officials who never knew the deeper wiring. What seemed like civic philanthropy turned into a laundering spine. Money arrived in fragments. $480,000 from a shipping broker in Long Beach, $3.2 million through construction retainers in Fresno, $74 million rooted into land acquisitions outside Stockton, then broken again through micro-contracts too dull for headlines. The DEA flagged narcotics-linked movement. The FBI found judicial interference surrounding sealed warrants. DOJ auditors noticed case files transferred off pattern, always just before major seizures. Nothing external, internal. Most the first break came from a street informant in East Los Angeles who only spoke in half sentences and burner codes. He never named Keller directly. He called the protected route Glass Harbor, a street code name whispered between brokers who moved powder north, cash south, and records nowhere. According to him, the shipment fell under federal review. One phone call to Sacramento could make the clock bend. Then, 12 days before the raid, someone inside the courthouse claimed her name was Marisol Vega, calendar clerk with badge access to restricted filing fees and midnight archive transfers. She was not part of the conspiracy at first. She was a witness to it, then a hostage to it, then, quietly, it changed everything. She told agents that Keller never touched money directly. He used an intermediary network, a retired magistrate in Fresno, a logistics broker in San Jose, a tax attorney in Los Angeles, and an executive director at Pacific Renewal. She also said there was a sealed room beneath the evidence annex. That sealed level raised suspicion. Less than 10 minutes later, one more detail sealed it. Every Thursday, just after late docket closures, Keller ordered manual transfer of legacy probate materials to sub-level storage. No probate records were ever logged entering or leaving that room. Vega had watched armed private contractors escort document crates down the elevator with no chain of custody record, no marshal signature, and no digital scan. The elevator only responded to a mechanical override key, so the task force rebuilt the pattern. Sacramento was the nerve center. Fresno handled land laundering. Los Angeles ran legal shields. Long Beach disguised port contamination. San Diego serviced cross-border cash couriers. Oakland housed the charitable front. 6 California locations, one network, one bench at the middle of it, and still the ledger hadn't appeared. By 11:51 p.m., Night Lantern was already moving on 3 fronts. FBI teams positioned around the federal annex in Sacramento. DEA units staged near an industrial accounting office outside Fresno. DOJ cyber specialists entered a secured room 2 blocks away with mirrored drives, subpoena packets, and a list of dormant server addresses tied to Pacific Renewal. Then the courthouse network buckled. Not a citywide outage. Not a random crash. A surgical digital disruption struck the federal case management node. Locking 43 active files and purging metadata from 27 sealed dockets. Backup authentication rejected supervisors. Surveillance corridors looped 14 seconds of empty hallway. Someone had triggered a custom wipe through an old remote admin credential that should have died years earlier. What seemed like panic was actually discipline. The cyber team traced the breach through a relay bouncing from Reno, then back through a dormant legal services cloud tenant registered in San Jose. From there, it snapped toward one terminal still alive inside the courthouse. The workstation assigned to Keller's chambers administrator, Nathan Vale. He had passed every background screen, every financial review, every interview. He was the betrayal no one wanted to name. At 12:08 a.m., their tactical forces pushed forward through the annex's east loading corridor, while U.S. Marshals locked perimeter access, and Sacramento streets fell under a hush more unsettling than noise. Keller's chambers were empty. His phone sat on a walnut desk beside a half-drunk espresso and an unsigned suppression order affecting a DEA seizure scheduled for the next morning in Bakersfield. He had known pressure was closing in. He had not known how close. Behind a false archive wall below sub-level records, agents found the mechanical elevator Vega described. It descended only one floor, yet the shaft blueprint on file showed no lower construction. When the doors split open, light hit steel shelves, climate control cabinets, and 62 matte black storage cases labeled with probate numbers belonging to dead estates from Monterey, Napa, and Riverside. Inside those cases were not wills, they were protection keys, cash logs, passport copies, burner phone inventories, judicial calendar notes cross-referenced to narcotics shipments, USB vaults holding hearing drafts, port entry schedules from Long Beach and San Diego, donation ledgers from Pacific Renewal, and wrapped in waxed evidence paper hidden in a hollow legal encyclopedia cover, the one artifact the task force had hunted for nearly a year, a red leather accounting book stamped with a gold K. The ledger did not read like bookkeeping. It read like command. Every page tied names to outcomes. Delay, transfer, seal, suppress, dismiss without prejudice. Beside those directives were routed amounts: $910,000, $12.4 million, $86 million, $140 million. Some entries referenced courthouse initials, some marked ports. Others linked DEA case numbers to judges, clerks, and private intermediaries. One notation appeared again and again beside major cash movements and witness disappearances. GH-17. Glass Harbor had not been a route. It was a compartment inside the operation. Before anyone could celebrate, Sacramento erupted in a second wave. At 12:26 a.m., a white utility van clipped a security barrier behind the annex, and two armed men bailed out, not to fight the perimeter, but to reach the telecom vault servicing court backups. They were intercepted within seconds, but not before they triggered an incendiary device that scorched cable trunks and blacked out 3 floors. Sprinklers burst, archive alarms screamed, smoke pushed into the stairwells. Someone was trying to blind the takedown while the ledger was still underground. DEA units in Fresno hit the accounting office at the same moment and found industrial shredders still warm, 5 hard drives dissolved in acid slurry, and floor safes emptied except for one stack of title deeds covering 117 parcels across California. In Los Angeles, a tax attorney named Vivian Crow tried to leave Century City with 2 encrypted phones and a diplomatic-style document pouch. In Oakland, Pacific Renewal's executive director locked herself in a conference room and detected a remote wipe from a laptop that had already been mirrored by federal cyber agents 22 minutes earlier. The entire machine was moving as Sacramento had breached from the inside, and Keller was still missing. Public tension spread before sunrise. Helicopters circled over Sacramento. Reporters clustered near the Robert T. Mitsui Federal Complex. In Fresno, courthouse staff refused comment as subpoenas rolled out. In Los Angeles, legal blogs whispered about sealed warrants involving a senior federal jurist. Across California, trust did not collapse all at once. It cracked in visible lines. People could understand cartels. They could understand crooked brokers. A federal judge was different. By 12:41 a.m., the cyber trace that began as a courthouse failure finished its arc. DOJ analysts reconstructed the intrusion path from the dead admin credential to Vale's terminal, then to a private fiber line leased under the Pacific Renewal Foundation, then onward to a residence outside Carmichael registered to a shell trust. Thermal imagery from an FBI overflight showed one occupant moving between rooms and one detached garage still lit. Inside the garage, agents found Keller, not in robes, not composed. He was dressed for flight in a charcoal overcoat, carrying a hard-case laptop, $240,000 in vacuum-sealed bundles, 3 foreign passports, and a handwritten departure list naming Tijuana, Ensenada, and a private marina south of the border. He did not surrender immediately. He stalled. He asked which warrant they were serving. He asked who had signed it. He asked whether the Attorney General understood the consequences of breaking judicial independence in the dark. No one answered him. The answer was already in the ledger. Nathan Vale was arrested 7 minutes later trying to reach Interstate 80 in a county vehicle with clone plates. Under the passenger seat was the missing override key to the sub-level elevator and a flash drive containing the kill script that crippled courthouse systems, where the malware had a label embedded in the code comments, almost arrogant in its simplicity. Lantern_fall. That was the trace. That was the betrayal. And it ran deeper still. The red ledger tied Vale's credential activity to private contractors and campaign intermediaries, and a consulting firm in San Jose that had laundered compliance audits for years. One appendix mapped hearing dates against narcotics corridor surges from San Diego through the Central Valley. Another cross-indexed seizure delays with warehouse acquisitions near Stockton and Fresno. Keller had not merely protected isolated criminals, he had engineered timing. That changed the case from corruption to architecture. By the time dawn pushed gray over the Capitol dome, 18 arrests had been executed across California, and one sealed federal complaint in Washington, D.C. He had expanded into a racketeering structure with narcotics, laundering, cyber sabotage, obstruction, bribery, and conspiracy counts. The Pacific Renewal Foundation was shut down before noon. Its donor wall, once crowded with local praise and polished mission slogans, became evidence. In Sacramento, workers rolled black plastic over the annex windows where smoke had stained the glass. In Fresno, ranch parcels bought through shell trusts were frozen before transfer. In Long Beach, port inspectors reopened container histories previously buried by emergency court stays. In Los Angeles, defense firms scrubbed websites, deleted biographies, and stopped answering phones. And in San Diego, one courier flipped before booking and gave agents a phrase they had never heard before. He said Keller's group believed the safest hiding place in America was not offshore, not underground, not encrypted. It was inside public trust. That line landed harder than the indictment, because the drugs were ugly, but understandable. The money was obscene, but measurable. The sabotage was technical, but traceable. The real fracture was simpler. A courthouse had been turned into a shield for a criminal empire, and the people charged with defending law had sold access to its blind spots. The Red Ledger ended that illusion, not because it was dramatic, because it was boring in the most terrifying way. Dates, initials, parcel numbers, account fragments, hearing notes, transfer codes, all the cold little marks power leaves behind when it stops fearing daylight. Keller had spent years believing the procedure could outlive scrutiny. He had mistaken silence for legitimacy. He had confused the weight of his office with immunity. California carried the impact first. Sacramento took the breach. Fresno took the land seizures. Oakland lost the charitable mask. Los Angeles absorbed the legal panic. Long Beach and San Diego exposed the freight channels beneath the money. The state that gave the enterprise cover also became the ground where it unraveled, and that was the part no one in the operation calculated. If a robe can hide a pipeline, if a ledger can outlast a courtroom, if public trust can be rented until the night it is repossessed, what exactly is left when the people guarding the system become the system's most protected criminals?